Yeah.
Continue to drink, but we do have some amazing toasts and speeches to begin. And we are going to start with best mate of Ben, Mike Guccione. Some of the speakers are going to walking right away, so keep the energy up.
We're over there. Okay. Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Michael. I am truly honored to be Ben's best mate. I know he has so many amazing friends that I've met tonight, and so it's truly an honor. Before I start, I was reminiscing with some people last night, and I just realized that this is actually my second speech for Ben. Ben, I don't know if you remember, but at your bar mitzvah, when we were 13 years old, I was called up and no one gave me any notice. And because I was your best friend then, they were like, "Oh, Michael, why don't you come up and say something?" And I had nothing prepared, and it was horrible. I didn't know what to say, but I got through it. But I think that's why I didn't even remember it until now, because it was probably like a repressed memory. This is horrible. But I came prepared tonight, so I am going to read this. So here I go.
Before you do that, we're going to make this easier on you.
Oh. All right, thank you. All right. Well, first of all, on behalf of everyone, I'd like to thank you for not having your wedding in New Zealand. We all appreciate your consideration of our carbon footprint, not to mention the 18-hour flight. I'm here to tell you about Ben and how truly special, talented, good-looking, and sorry, Ben, I'm struggling to read your handwriting here. But I'm kidding, you both look awesome. I'm not sure if everyone knows the story of Ben and Joyce, but it is truly remarkable and one that I will briefly share. Ben and I went to separate colleges, but I remember him consistently talking about the same person he always had his eye on, that being Joyce. However, Joyce was a hot commodity and was never available. Now, before I continue, I want to say that I've known Ben for over 20 years. And one of the things about Ben is how patient he is. Sometimes to a fault, or maybe the fact that I'm a very impatient person that it used to drive me crazy. We used to play a lot of board games growing up, and he would take so long taking his turn, I would be losing his mind. Even when we made plans to go out somewhere, I always knew I had add an hour to the time we agreed on meeting, or else I'd just be sitting there by myself. The reason I'm bringing this up is because his patience and lack of urgency, which drove me crazy and still does, by the way, was how he was able to bide his time with Joyce. He knew what he wanted and waited for the right opportunity to show Joyce he was the right person for her. Not only was Joyce's unavailability a hurdle, but years later, when she was finally available, they both lived on opposite sides of the country. It was only at a college friends get-together when Ben finally saw his chance and made his move. Ben was determined to find any opportunity to fly out and be with her. It was obvious Ben was in love, but at that point, Ben was deciding whether to go to LA or New Zealand. I think Joyce knew deep down how she felt about Ben, but at that point was not ready to commit. So Ben ultimately decided on New Zealand as his new home. Once Ben left, Joyce realized she didn't want to live without him and made the decision to drop anything to move out to New Zealand. Wow, Joyce, it takes now. But in your defense, it was you who made the final leap of faith and moved out to be with him. And that is what cemented the story of Ben and Joyce as one of the all-time greats. I know Ben mentioned he hopes a movie deal comes his way. Despite my wife and I only getting to know Joyce face-to-face on our LA trip together, Our weekly FaceTime calls have made us feel like we've been friends with Joyce for a very long time. I'm thankful Joyce and I get along so well. And Emily and I selfishly hope you both move back here one day. I guess I should take a page out of Ben's book and be patient. Now, it's always tradition to raise your glasses when I give a speech, and I actually forgot my glass. But let's all do so. And I just want to say, Ben and I both share a common sense of humor. So if this speech was unfunny, feel free to blame Ben. Ben, you've been my best friend since 6th grade, and are the closest thing to a brother I've ever had. Joyce, you are a beautiful person, inside and out, and I'm so happy for you both. And I wish you both many years of happiness. Cheers.
Cheers.
Come back. I'm gonna take this from you.
Okay.
You did so good.
Next up, I would like to welcome Peter and Aaron to the microphone.
May.
There you are.
Thank you.
Blew in. You're good.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin. We've had the privilege of knowing Joyce since 2013 when we started grad school together. I think a lot of people here might be able to agree or attest to the feeling I have when I'm with Joyce. I feel lighter, I feel like I can take on the world, and I'm really inspired to just be my true self. So we were a little skeptical when she started telling us about this person that like kind of wanted to visit her and like maybe he likes me, but he's coming again. I don't know. And he just kept coming back. But as soon as we met Ben, it was very exciting to find out that there was someone who could match the awesomeness of Joyce and bring the same amount of energy that we've always appreciated about Joyce. And so it's been a real honor to watch you two grow and evolve together, and we thank you for letting us be a part of that journey. Now I'll let Peter add the couple side of things.
Yeah, and then these two buggered off to New Zealand for a while, and thanks for that. But it is quite remarkable. I speak from experience here. You know, going to a different country, assimilating with a new culture, and blending in is not as easy as you think a task it is. And so, but not only did they do that, but they grew deeper and stronger in their love, and they got engaged, and now they are married. And that's something to commend and appreciate. And so we are proud of them for doing that, and they should be proud of themselves. But now they are in this next and exciting step of their lives, which is marriage. And I can only repeat, I think Kate said it last night, and you guys said in your vows, like the only constant is change, and that is truly what it is. And so we've changed, you guys will change, like Ben, you know, Joyce will change in the next few days, maybe even, and Joyce, like Ben will do the same. And really just like embrace that and appreciate it, and, you know, have patience with it and be committed to that, because it will happen. And if you do embrace it, your love will go stronger and deeper. There's no question. And I'm saying it, not that I'm good at it. I actually suck at it. But I know it's the right answer. And so just really take my word for it. Yeah.
He's better at it than he gives himself credit for. Okay, so our toast is a toast to Ben and Joyce. Enjoy your evening. You'll never have all of these same people in the same place at the same time that love you this much. And a challenge to the rest of you, take advantage of this amazing opportunity to meet someone that you would never have otherwise met. So, congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. I've learned a lot during these last couple of days. They've been wonderful. Mike's just told us he was just asked up, seconds before he had to give a speech. Kate had, 15 minutes, and I think you nailed it. I mean, that was awesome. I've had 32 years to try to come up with something, and I don't know. Pray for me. So welcome to all of our friends and family. Thank you for joining us in the celebration of Joyce and Ben's love for each other and the planet. And thank you too for the Yeagers and the Sewells families for your warmth and welcoming hospitality deep in the heart of Texas. It's wonderful to join with you in raising a toast to our newlyweds, Ben and Joyce. Let's take a moment to remember all that came before us and nurtured us and nurtured these families. Aileen, Joyce's and Amanda's mother, Sam and Jane, my brother and my parents, and sending our love and support. You may have heard Frank, I apologize for that, on the attempted stream. Frank and Mary Thoburn, Lisa's parents, who could not be with us, but they are very much a part of this wedding and very much sending their love. And a little bit difficult to bring this up, but as Ben broke the glass, we do remember the difficulties even amongst this wonderful and joyous occasion. So let's stand together with Israel as they go to war and put an end to Hamas's terrorism and sheer evil. Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live. It's a difficult time for our world. Ben carries the name of his grandfather, who at age 15 sought a better life and left Krosliev, Ukraine. It is so nice to be here with my brother and our cousins. We're thinking of Naomi, the one cousin who didn't make it, but she's still here with us. And we are here because of the brave step that Grandpa Ben took more than 100 years ago. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Well, Ben and Joyce certainly have taken their own bold steps. As our founding fathers wrote in our Declaration of Independence, Ben and Joyce have fully embraced the part about the pursuit of happiness. New Zealand does rank in the top 10 highest happy populations. The U.S. is only 15th. Ben started early pursuing happiness, building sandcastles, building with Legos, riding the newest and fastest roller coasters, and then modeling them in Roller Coaster Tycoon. And when Liz was born, that brought even more happiness. Then came the Disney and the Universal Studios vacation years that we tied into visits with my parents, Grandpa and Grandma, Sam and Jane in Sarasota. We had a passion for packing it in. Park hopper tickets with only one day left, no problem. Let's visit Animal Kingdom, MGM, and Magic Kingdom all in one day. And New Year's Eve at Universal Studios, great. You have longer hours. It's tough. It's tough. Don't worry, it's not this many pages. I have extra paper just in case I needed some extra thoughts. To feed Ben's appetite for happiness, he kept accelerating. Swim team and New Dawns, show choir, overlaps, oi. The fights with the coaches on scheduling. No sailing team at Wheeling High School? No problem, we'll start one. I was the coach. They told us, Wheeling, I don't think they'd be interested in a sailing club. But Ben wore his Wheeling High School sailing team shirt with pride as we marched over on the other side of the tracks to, where were we?
Lake Forest.
Lake Forest, yes, a very, very hoity-toity town. But Ben he held his own with those guys and the Opti children. So, he needed to get to the sailing practice. Oh, there's Lake Forest. I knew I wrote it down. So, and he wound up with welcoming the Tiburon, the Tib, to the family, his little Korean sports car that he loved. And trips to Milwaukee, Louisville, and Greensboro to sing on American Idol. And then at the U, X Factor came to campus, and he jumped at the chance, never quitting and giving up on that. He made it on stage with Simon Cowell and was ready to pull up stakes and join and quit college for as long as it took. But, you know, one door opens when another one closes. And then you're moved to New Zealand. A lot of friends and family ask, why New Zealand? Well, if you felt you could help more people at the government level as an urban planner rather than a civil engineer, and you did it, working with the City of Christchurch. You wanted to dive into the spectacular land and seascapes which indeed made you happy. What I did not know is that Joyce shared your vision for New Zealand and Mother Earth. Now you are both happily married. And that makes us very happy indeed. Mazel tov. So what could top all this? Grandchildren. Lots of grandchildren.
Hey, here,
Love you
here,
both.
here. You know, I'm feeling kind of unprepared. I had written out some stuff and then I lost my notes, and it's been a hectic week. You know how those things are. And I think Ben and Joyce understand about hectic weeks. But in any case, you know, a moment like this makes you reflect on what's really important in life and the beauty of things, and you look back and think about things, and you know, there's just so many wonderful memories from Joyce. I mean, one thing, her name Joyce. It was such a joy to us. Aline and I had 4 miscarriages, and then we had Joyce, and that makes you just you're waiting for this child to come, and it was such a joy to all of us. And I would tell you some stories there, but there's one story that Joyce would not want me to tell, so I'll just hope you can ask me later or something. I'd tell you some stories of just how verbal Joyce was as a child. That she memorized. There was a book you're reading at Christmas, and you're going through it, and on the other side, it has no words and just pockets that you open. But you read it for 25 days, and she memorized it, and well, anyway, it was she told her grandmother, read it, and her grandmother looked at it and said, Mimi said, there's no words. And then she just started quoting it. And she was like, I don't know if she was 3 or 4, but it was something like that. You know, the science thing with Joyce, there was, so one day she was over playing at another child's house, and they found a caterpillar, and they put the caterpillar inside a jar, and she brought it home. She was so happy, and that caterpillar immediately spun its cocoon, and it was attached there to the edge of the glass jar. And so we set it on the shelf and, you know, watched what became known as Fuzzy Wuzzy. So Fuzzy Wuzzy, you know, Joyce, she's 5 years old, okay? She's carrying that with her. She goes to Mimi and Pappy's house and spends the night, and she took Fuzzy Wuzzy. And my dad, he could hear that thing in there. It sounded like it wanted to get out. And so my dad, he decided to help it along, and he started to cut it open so it could get out. And then it needs to stay in the oven longer. So he put some Scotch tape over it, and Joyce brought it back home, and we were kind of like, oh no. And so we kind of stuck it up on a shelf. Maybe she'll forget about it. But then at some point there, you know, I don't remember whether this was months or if it was months. Okay. One day we look at it, and this beautiful Luna moth is coming out. And I'm telling you, the thing was that wide. I'm pretty sure it it was a big moth. And it was just a beautiful little thing. And we, of course, turned it loose. And Aline and I went to A&M. We met at A&M. The school was a good place to meet your spouse. But anyway, we took her to A&M, to the entomology lab, and found, had an entomologist walk her through. Here's the moth, and described it to her. And so we've got pictures of, I don't know if it's up there, but you just have a child that's 5 years old looking at the case of all these moths and everything, and she's very interested in just, and the professor's telling her about it. So, you could see some of this beforehand, it's a real sweet memory. There's just a lot of stories that I could tell. When it came time to go to school, of course, we're both Aggies. We wanted to go to A&M, marine biology. I know Galveston, and but if you've been to Galveston, you know that you get in the ocean and I see my hand. Yeah, it's the Mississippi River coming through there, and so it just wasn't lighting or fire. And then those people in Miami come up with this wonderful scholarship for her, and of course we wouldn't be here if she hadn't gone 1,300 miles to school on the south end of Florida, and we were sad to see, but we had to let her go. And of course, then when she wanted to go to grad school, she went 1,300 miles the other direction. We got used to it. We kept wondering, is it something we did? Now she went to New Zealand. Of course, I know that Aline would be so proud, and proud of this event and how y'all put it together. And one of the things we were told when we first got married, that marriage is like having a garden. And it's you have the garden, and if you pay attention to it and work at it, then it'll produce great vegetables and wonderful things and spices. And of course, if you neglect it and don't pay any attention to it, it'll produce weeds and thorns, and that's part of what. And when I look at what you've done here, this is a great. It's a picture of that kind of love that you need. You need to keep, it doesn't have to always be this much work, but that same kind of just energy and love for one another. You pursue it, and it will just provide. And I guess I feel doubly blessed. I mean, I had a wonderful marriage for 31 years, wonderful woman. And then I feel like God's blessed me again. And, it's been the proverb that Scripture says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and finds favor with the Lord. It's a wonderful thing. Just bless y'all.
Hello, everyone. I'm Liz. I'm Ben's little sister. I've been dreaming of giving a speech at his wedding more than my own wedding. I'm so happy to be here, and I want to start off by thanking Ben and Joyce and everyone who played a part in this wedding planning. I know it wasn't easy. I wish I could say I played a part as well, but all I did was make a reservation at the Rainforest Cafe this week for his bachelor party. So you're welcome. So Ben and I go way back, obviously. My parents told me that he was unhappy to learn that he was getting a little sister. But when he was brought to the hospital and he saw me, his very first words were, "My sister is so beautiful." You've been validating me ever since. Ben, we've had such a non-traditional brother-sister bond. You were nothing like my friends' brothers growing up. We played Barbies and Legos. And we pretended we were British secret agents on every single family trip. One of my first memories with Ben was when I played Annie and he played Daddy Warbucks in Annie the musical. I was 5 and Ben was 9. It was one of those plays where there were like 6 Annies and 4 Daddy Warbuckses, so everyone had a part. So we didn't actually have a scene together. But I remember during my song, Ben would be standing at the side of the stage taking notes on how I could improve. And not much has changed, but in the best way. Ben, you've remained my most supportive friend, and I'm so, so grateful to be your sister. Joyce, I've been hearing your name for the last decade. I remember when Ben went to Ultra, the music festival, in 2013 or 14, and was like, yeah, I'm trying to hang out with this really beautiful girl, but it didn't work out, and I don't know. I even went with him to Los Angeles in 2017, and we phrased it as a sibling trip, even though we really were just trying to be in the same city as Joyce, so he could say that he happened to be in the same city as you. What are you up to tonight? It all worked out. I found a Facebook message that Ben had sent me in February of 2019, and it was during Joyce's first trip to New Zealand. And it read, quote, "I will literally marry Joyce one day, LMAO." You really manifested it. It has been such an honor to witness your guys' beautiful love and your love story unfold. I cherish the trips we've had, the times you've hosted me in New Zealand for weeks at a time, the Snapchats, and everything in between. Let's raise a glass. Ooh. To the beautiful couple. I can't wait for our little lives together. I love you. Mwah.